Success was never one of the possible outcomes. If you're in the matrix, success was never possible. The only way to achieve success is to reprogram the matrix such that success is one of the possible outcomes. I wanted to try to build something useful, but I didn't think I would build anything particularly great. If you said probabilistically, it seemed unlikely, but I wanted to at least try. I talked to my professor, can I defer for the quarter because this will probably fail and then I'll need to come back to college. And then he said, this is probably the last conversation we'll have. The only reason I started a company back in 95, an internet company, was because I couldn't get it. There were only a few internet companies and I couldn't get a job at any of them. So I tried to get a job at Netscape and sent my resume in and tried hanging out in the lobby, but I was too shy to talk to anyone. And then I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll have to start a company because I can't get a job anywhere. If you're trying to figure out what others love, but you don't love it, it's really hard to make that great. So when you work on something, if you fall in love with it, that's a good sign. And then don't worry about if others do. If you do, others will. I mean, there wasn't any other way to make it work. There were 3 years of hell, 2017, 18, and 19. It was the longest period of excruciating pain in my life. There wasn't any other way. And we barely made it, and we were on the ragged edge of bankruptcy the entire time. So when you felt like I want pain, I don't like it. Those were three so much pain. But it had to be done, or Tesla would be dead. My workload went up from about, 70 to 8 hours a week to probably 120. Go to sleep, I wake up, I work. Go to sleep, wake up, work. Do that 7 days a week. I'll have to do that for a while. No choice. Measure of success, I'd say, how many useful things can I get done?
Day-to-day basis, wake up in the morning. How can I be useful today?
Yeah, maximize utility, area under the curve of usefulness. Very difficult to be useful at scale. The companies that will succeed in this transition period will be the ones that most effectively use AI. So if you're doing something and making maximum use of AI and you're competing against someone who is not, you will win. When I talked to my son in university and he's was like, how many of your classmates are using AI to help them write things? And he said, all of them. I was confident that at the time that we launched, no one could think of anything that would improve the probability of success. We racked our brains to think of any possible way to improve the probability of success. We could not think of anything more, nor could NASA, and so that's just the best that we could do. So then we went ahead and launched. Now, I'm not a religious person, but I nonetheless got on my knees and prayed for that mission.
How did it feel when it was a success? First, when the launch was a success, and when they returned back home?
It was a great relief. The ability to attract and motivate great people is critical to the success of a company, because a company is it's a group of people that are assembled to create a product or service. That's the purpose of a company. If you're able to get great people to join the company and work together towards a common goal, and you sort of have a relentless sense of perfection about that goal, then you will end up with a great product. And if you have a great product, lots of people will buy it. And then the company will be successful. Yeah. But really, it's pretty straightforward, really.
Then you got to live at the factory to make it work.
Yeah.
You moved to Texas, then you went back up to San Francisco because of Twitter.
So I think things are reasonably stabilized right now. It was just on the fast track to bankruptcy after the acquisition, so I had to take drastic action. There wasn't any choice.
Right, I'm just saying it's hard for a woman, like when the guy lives at the factory.
Yes. The thing is that if you listen to surveys of do people want an electric car, there's no way you'd start an electric car company because people don't say yes. They're happy with their current car. Henry Ford famously said if you ask people back then what they wanted, they'd say they wanted a faster horse, and they would not have said they want an automobile. I think there's also a famous survey, would you buy a television? And I think 90% of people said no. It's because people don't understand what this new thing is that you're offering. You need to be able to imagine how someone would enjoy the product. If that seems compelling, then I think you should move forward with it. I do think it's important to not get, quote Scarface, don't get high on your own supply. Of course, in the end, he did. You don't want to start thinking too highly of yourself because it actually reduces your feedback loop. If you think you're too smart, you stop listening to criticism. I mean, if you're going to try something innovative, then you're in unexplored territories. So the odds that something will go wrong are pretty high. It's only if you try to do something that is already well understood that there's little chance of failure. But then it will not be interesting or innovative. So, for sure, uncharted territory will result in failures necessarily. Otherwise, you're not trying hard enough. Time is a true currency.
Yeah.
If you look at, say, Tesla, Tesla this year will do over $100 billion in revenue. So that's $2 billion a week. If I make slightly better decisions, I can affect the outcome by $1 billion. I try to do the best decisions I can. I would never get any sleep. It would just be like, I need to just keep working and work my brain harder, And I'm not trying to get as much as possible out of this meat computer. The marginal value of a better decision can easily be, in the course of an hour, $100 million of time can be $100 million an hour at times, or more.
Do you have like terrible ideas, good ideas, too many ideas?
I have too many ideas. Ideas are relatively easy. Execution is hard.
Are people inside your companies, do they have ideas?
Yes.
And how does that work? How do they pitch an idea to you?
So it's not really a pitching process. I have meetings with the engineering and design teams, and we discuss, product or new products. But there's no actual sort of formal pitching or anything. We meet all the time, and people come up with ideas and move forward with them, or we don't. Try to learn a little bit about a lot of things, because you might not know what you're really interested in. How would you know what you're really interested in if you at least peripheral exploration broadly of the knowledge landscape? You talk to people from different walks of life and different industries and professions and skills, and learn as much as possible.
Like one of the most difficult choices I have ever faced in life was in 2008. I think I had maybe $30 million left. I had two choices: put it all into one company, and then the other company would definitely die, or split it. But if I split it between two companies, then both might die. Blood, sweat, and tears into creating something, building something. It's like a child.
Yeah, everything was going wrong at once. 3 rocket failures in a row in the beginning, and Tesla financing round was falling apart, or fell apart. The Solar City was having difficulties, getting divorced. It was really terrible.
Yeah.
So I was very sad.
But then everything was perfect when
Well, it took a while.
was in space.
Yeah, at the end of 2008, the 4th launch worked.
Yes.
Which is that was all the money we had, but nothing more. In fact, originally I budgeted. I thought, okay, we can do survive 3 failures. So we just barely scraped together enough to do a 4th launch. And then at the end of 2008, we got a big NASA contract, literally on December 23rd, I think it was. Yeah. So it went from really terrible to, I remember that Sunday before Christmas in 2008 thinking this is the closest I've ever come to a nervous breakdown. If other people are putting in 40-hour work weeks and you're putting in 100-hour work weeks, then even if you're doing the same thing, you know that you will achieve in 4 months what it takes them a year to achieve.